I recently discovered that I could possibly be an undiagnosed ADD, which would explain all of these things that it would explain a lot of them. I recently discovered. Wow. Anyway, welcome to the Side Sessions podcast. My name is Sai Jones, just to get the formalities out of the way. But I do not like formalities nonetheless. So we're in a new space. I don't know how I feel because it's screaming formal. It's screaming teacher, principal type of vibe. It's screaming, I'm at school.
Very nice space though.
It is, you think?
Yeah.
Yo, it's loud.
I don't know how
at
the previous
me.
space looked like, but this is
It was tighter than this. Oh my goodness. I'm joined by Edsoul today, DJ, producer, and I'm also going to add broadcaster. And also, I am going to say that you are a sound engineer because I find that to be so genius of you, Heike. I'm not going to hide it. Welcome to the Side Sessions podcast, my guy.
Thanks for having me. I've been seeing a couple of shows. They've been looking good. And I'm very pleased to be here.
I mean, how do you feel? You tell me what this energy is giving you besides nice space. What is the energy giving you?
Creativeness.
Oh, okay.
Freeness. A lot of energy, loudness. But yeah, I think a place where one can express themselves, most definitely. So yeah, that's the kind of feel that I get.
I love that actually because as you know, I keep saying that this is our first time shooting here, and I do need a bit of luck because, like I said, previous space was tighter. Yeah. So this is what I want to do, and Mob just.
I guess you're moving on up. The money's coming in.
Hey guys. The money must come in. You must pledge for this show to continue to go online. Oh man. So before I get to know you, because I did say the whole point of you pulling up today is just so we can get to know you more. And as we were talking before we went on air, I realized a bunch of stuff about you.
Yes.
And my first thing was, no, this is not where I want to start. I want to start with asking you some very irrelevant questions within a timed time.
Oh, really? Is that how we start?
And I want to start this episode like that. That's not how I usually start, but I want to start with that episode. Mob Justice, I need a timer. Yes, I need a timer. I need to ask this guy some questions. Some really irrelevant personal questions, just so we can get to know his personal side a little bit better.
Okay.
I need 30 seconds. Are you on it? Yes. Let me know when we're ready. Because I haven't done this in a while, because I realized that most of the time, when I sit with somebody, I know exactly what their personal life looks like. But you and I, it's been like touch and go. We've never talked. It's always about work. I'm just like, oh my goodness. It's like, oh my goodness. I would just love to kind of get a holistic view and on how your life is set up. Okay. I guess. So, Moba, we ready on the timer? Okay. In what? 3, 2, in 5, 4. Oh man. See, now we're watching Mob put something. Is that a lapel? Why do you have a lapel? Oh, flip. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. So, are we ready?
Yes.
Shoot.
Okay. I'm waiting for him. Mob. Time.
You said 30 seconds?
Yes, 30
cool.
seconds.
Let's go.
Okay. So, where were you born?
Born in Tanzania.
I knew it. Okay, sorry.
No. You didn't know.
No, I knew there was something foreign about you. For some reason, I thought you were Swati, but anyway, yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, but it's only because both my parents are South African, but I was born there because of exile, and back in the day.
Exile, yeah.
Yeah, apartheid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was born there, but then raised and brought up in South Africa.
Which way? In Johannesburg?
Yeah, so
Time.
I'm from my hood. Oh.
This always happens because the follow-up questions just finished.
Also, is it 30 seconds per question?
Yeah, no. I wanted to do 30 seconds for the whole thing, and then I realized.
Oh, come on. It's not that
Okay, fine. Let's try. Let's try 30 seconds per question.
Let's try 30 seconds per question.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I was just saying, my hood is Soweto. That's why I was brought up. Soweto, Meadowlands to be exact. Kasla, Mele, Zone 5.
Okay.
I grew up in Zone 5. Yeah, just basically that.
Okay. Next question. How old are you?
Ooh, I'm old enough.
Okay, old enough to do what exactly? So my gauge is: are you old enough on a span of? Oh yeah, that's why do people over 30 like to think that their age is such a secret?
Nah, it's not. You can actually Google that, so you'll find it.
Exactly. You see,
Yeah.
single or taken?
Taken.
Woo! No one has ever said that explicitly on this show. Favorite genre in music outside of house music?
Sure. I listen to different types of music. So, neo soul, R&B, hip hop. I listen to a lot of hip hop. And a bit of jazz as well. So it's kind of like a mixture of stuff that I listen to besides house music.
I'm going to hold my follow-up for next. Do you prefer performing sober or drink? Do you even drink?
Yes, I actually do. So this is the thing. I once saw this on a live stream that I was doing. People were like, why is this guy always drinking water? So there's a point where I went for like a couple of years without drinking. So people in the, I'd say DJ fraternity or industry knew me as a person that doesn't drink. But then I started exploring with alcohol and drinking. So
when was that?
I'm sure, I don't know, in terms of like years. I'm trying to think. Maybe like in 2010.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that was like back in 2010, there was a time when I didn't drink alcohol at all. And then 2011, 12, that's when I started exploring with, I drink, but I'm not like a heavy drinker.
Okay.
I'm very light. So 2 drinks,
You're down for the count.
I'm coming. I'm getting there.
But wait, do you prefer performing sober or inebriated?
In the middle, man. I gotta have a drink.
In the middle.
Yeah, I gotta have at least one drink.
So I was having this chat about this situation, right? And because recently I started experimenting with alcohol.
So you don't drink?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I started experimenting with alcohol.
All right.
So now I realized there was a point whereby I started to not feel like myself. I guess that's being tipsy.
Yes.
I guess.
Yes,
So I kept asking myself, this is the one thing I kept saying, how do DJs perform in this state? I did not understand it at all. So how do people do it? How do people do it? And then someone explained to me that, you know what, when you are more inebriated as opposed to sober,
completely, yeah.
When maybe completely sober, when you're more inebriated, you don't take yourself as seriously. So that when you make a minor mistake, it's not like the end of the world. It's rather
so you become a bit harder on yourself
when you're so so that's how they explained it to me, that you become more relaxed, that if you make a mistake, you just move on. It was a mistake. So that's how they explained it to me, even though I still don't understand how the hell DJs perform when they are drunk.
Yeah, well, I feel off the music in most cases. For me, that's where it starts. So the drinking thing is not like it's not like a clutch where I have to have a drink.
Yeah.
So I can do a 2-hour set or the whole set with just pure water.
Yes.
Because that's where I'd say that the music is what you feel off. The energy comes from the music, and that's what inspires you, keeps you going throughout the whole set.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be me consuming a drink, but it does help, to just have something
To sip,
sip while you play,
sip nyana. Okay,
sip.
I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, Edsoul. Woo!
Yeah, welcome to
So we talked a little bit earlier on, and I was just asking you a bunch of questions, and some of them I was I really want you to share with us on air because we are conversing. I usually say that those interviews where they just ask you basic stuff about everything. This is not one of those. This is something where we want to know your philosophies. We just want to know what influences you and so on and so forth. And so with that said, we were talking earlier on about me having to kind of do like some research on you. And then I was like, have you tried Googling yourself? Part of me wishes that we kind of got that first impression on air because he Googled himself for the first time today and he likes what he sees.
Look, I like it actually. Like I said, it's changed over the years. I've done it before, but it was me doing it for the first time, having not done it in a while. So I kind of liked what I saw when I Googled myself. I was like, oh, okay, so you get a sense of what I do, you know, which is the music and what I put out there. You know, so everything else you kind of won't know. Unless you listen to like an interview or you read a blog or something that's been written about me, then you get a sense of a bit more than what you just see from a music point of view.
So what do we not see when we Google you? Because we can go Google you again. So we're like, hey, this is what we see. So tell us what we do not see.
Look, you'll find the music there. What don't you see? I'm trying to think.
Because I'm going to tell you now, we have your about here, which is great. It just tells us all about you, what you do as a soulful house music DJ, and also what you spin, I guess. It says he believes music is a spiritual body and soul thing, which is how he connects with his audience. That's what, and then you see the music, which is the latest, and you're wearing it. And then we see your track source, discography. There's some videos, I guess, for Kaya FM. So what do we not see there?
Probably the background scenes, which is like my job.
You're 9 to 5, as they like to call it in the industry.
Like the 9 to 5, that's what you don't see. That's basically, I think, the one major thing that you don't see.
And we also don't see your taken here.
You find it. That's on my Instagram. Probably if you go
on Instagram, we'll see your taken.
I'm just joking. No, you won't see that there either. But yeah, like it's something that I kind of don't choose to put out there. It's like people must just know the music and that's it.
And that's how you want them to.
But in conversation, I'll talk about it. You know, I'll definitely talk about it. I won't be shy to like mention it or anything like that.
Because I asked you what's your star sign.
Yes.
And you are Libra.
Correct. Yes, I am.
And I mentioned to you that Ama Libras have this thing whereby they like to be in the spotlight but are low-key about it. But if you're saying your taken is not like all over your Instagram, that would make sense as a Libra guy.
What does that mean?
That would make sense. Like, don't get me wrong, Libras, like apparently the Libras are loyal, right? But they're not the kind of people who want all of their personal life out there for everyone to be seen. And that makes a lot of sense, I guess, with regards to how you want to be seen when someone Googles you as well.
I guess you're right about that. I guess you're right about that.
Let's paint the timeline. Oh, look now, this is me. Mob said don't fidget, and here I am already fidgeting. It's the undiagnosed ADD. I did say that. I think I'm an undiagnosed ADD. TikTok made me realize that. But let's paint the timeline of your career. Producing or DJing first?
DJing first.
DJing first.
Yeah, so I don't want to get the years wrong, but yes, I've been.
It's fine. We're not a stickler for years here.
For the past, I'd say maybe like 16, 17 years now.
Okay, so DJing first.
Yeah, DJing first.
Production
happened late 2013. So
okay.
Plus how many years?
Do you understand that 2013 has been 9 years ago?
It's 9 years ago.
That was a long time ago. It's 2013 9 years ago? Yeah.
Well, no.
2023 next year, 10 years.
I'd say the interest in it, but like physically doing it, maybe the dates are 2015. Like taking action in
That's still a long time ago. I need everybody to get perspective.
I didn't want to do that time thing. What year are we in?
What year are we in? I need people to get perspective here.
Yeah.
Children born in 2000 are 22 years old.
Right now,
this year. Perspective.
22 years old right now.
22. 2010 World Cup was what, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
So 2015, what major events happened in 2015? Okay, none comes to mind at the moment.
But
that was
that was a long time ago. Yeah.
We went through COVID. That was a good 2 years. It felt like 5. Like, it was a long time ago, but not to make you seem old or anything, because you're not, by the way. You're not old.
Yeah, I think, I suppose, I started quite young. In the
I guess so.
whole scene. Started from high school, DJing. I grew up from like the turntable era. I think I've seen like most generations from the turntable to CD to now USB. Some people now use laptops, So when I started, literally, I started on vinyl DJing, bedroom DJ. I was inspired by a show. Now that you actually take me back, there was a music conference that happened in 2006 that I went to. So UDG, which is Fresh, Crystals.
I knew, because they were the only people hosting conferences around that time. Yeah.
Skido, they had this group, and they used to have music conferences. Yeah. So we used to just go and enjoy and attend it. And I think that year, Alex Alvarez and Frank Roger were the international DJs, if not Mr. V as well was part of that. And then when I saw that, I was like, yo, when I saw how a DJ could literally like control people's emotions with music and control a crowd and make them react in a certain way, I was like, this is what I literally want to do. So I fell in love with the craft first. With the art, yeah, with the art first, and then took it from there. So did the whole DJing thing. My interests were, being a sound engineer or making music. After high school, I'm trying to remember when I matriculated, which is like long time ago. When I did matriculate.
Yes, that's better. When I did
matriculate, I made a decision that I wanted to pursue it. Obviously, my mom wasn't. Not to say she wasn't fond of it, but she didn't know much about it. Imagine how parents are now without. It's kind of like all over the place. Yeah. People are more exposed to it than parents were back then. So literally back then, parents only knew a couple of professions, which was doctor, lawyer, being
teacher, nurse.
Correct. Yes, exactly. Those are the only professions that they knew. So if you wanted to go into the media space back then, parents really, really didn't like that idea. So my mom was quite supportive. She was like, take not a break, but go ahead, try it. Yeah. But just make sure that it works out. Yeah. And do understand that as a person, when you grow, you have to live. If you grow in your later years, you'd want to build a family one day. So just make sure that it pays off. Yeah. So I went to the open day of Boston Media. At the time, DJ Fresh was doing like a whole bursary thing there, talking about the courses that they had. Yeah. My interest in my mind was sound engineering, and then I kind of like won a bursary to do one of the media courses, but only for like 2 years. So they were, and it was literally, my name was picked out of a huge box, and I was part of the kids that had won one of the bursaries that he was giving out at the time. So I was like, great, because funds-wise, when I checked, it was a lot of money, to do it. So it kind of gave me that stepping stone to say, all right, now you can do it. But at the time, it was media studies. It wasn't sound engineering. So as you went, the course was getting smaller and smaller. So it was a 3-year course. I later then, fast forward, majored in radio, took radio. I did that. That's where the sound engineer part was in there, as a course. Did that, and then I went on to work as a lot of things, like, when you're trying to make your way after college and stuff.
I do.
So you do odd jobs here and there, whether it's working as a waiter or doing this. So one of my jobs was that while I was studying, and then eventually a big break came for me to get an internship at Metro back then. I did. So in order for you to graduate, you had to do like an internship at either whatever establishment, but behind the scenes. So I was fortunate enough to get an internship at Metro FM at the time. I did that on the breakfast show. I did about 2 months of that, if I'm not mistaken. And then that ended. Even the way it was happening, it was like they didn't kind of know of me because of the person that put me in there. So at the end of my internship, literally the program manager at the time was like, "How I haven't been informed about you, so but I've been seeing you.
But I've been seeing you.
I'm not sure." And then you're like, "Okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna just sign over your internship form and give it to you and stuff like that." So I was able to graduate. When that ended, I was like, "What do I then do next?" So then an offer came from the industry that I was in at the time, those odd jobs that I was doing. I bumped into Fat Joe, and he was like, "Can you come become an intern on my show? There's an opportunity. Would you be interested? I've been hearing you speaking about the fact that you're in radio, this and that. Can you come do the show?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And it's fast forward a couple of years later. Since then, like it's been the journey. So my sound engineering is like mostly radio production that then went into music production.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I do a lot of like radio adverts, radio producing, promos, all those kind of things on radio. So it kind of like went into that direction. And then in those years, the DJing, so it's kind of like you doing everything parallel, so whether it's working, DJing, and the music thing started growing. Then in those years after that, I formed a group with a friend of mine. His name is Fang. We started a group called the Rhythm Sessions. That went to be something that lived on the station, on Kaya. We then did an album around that, the Rhythm Sessions. That's where the music thing came in. We did an album in 2017 called Music is Love. Ran that for a couple of years. We did EPs. We got songs remixed by Louis. We started, working ourselves around the network of the industry. So, being affiliated or being in the industry with people like Greg Maluka, Skido, Vinny, Christos, and then you start meeting certain people. So, people like Louis Vega were a friend or became that person, like that was very close to you at the time. Worked with Coffee at some point when he was at the station as well. So all of that kind of led up to where I am. So fast forward, we also, 2020, we decided to take a break from the group. An amicable break. People thought it was like beef or
people will always think it. I was actually going to ask how did this break come
yeah, it was definitely COVID, man. Like I think COVID made a lot of people to kind of reflect and think back in terms of what they've been doing. It kind of gave you a moment to reflect and say, okay, what do we want to do next? Because I think we're so busy in our lives doing whatever. So
during COVID?
No, before. Before COVID. Yeah, so it's like the world was moving so quickly that it kind of needed everything to stop. And people started reflecting, to say, okay, am I where I want to be? Can I do more as a person? Maybe there's something else that I'm interested in doing. And it was just that. And we had been doing that for like about, I think, 10 years. We ran it for 10 years. Before that, I was a DJ on my own, but the group thing ran for like a while. So like, you know what, let's explore other things. Let's explore other interests that we have. And then we'll see whether we come back into it or not. And that's basically where we're at right now. So after that, then decided let's take the solo journey. That's when I released my first single in 2020 of December, featuring Gavaza called The One. Did the EP and
Sorry, how often have you been telling the story?
Yo, that was actually the first time.
It's the first time.
I told it like that.
Like that.
Yeah, it's like I've been through a lot.
The way you tell it, I swear, it makes your whole journey seem so smooth, man.
No, and it's not.
It sounds smooth.
No, it's not smooth. I think a lot of luck, being at the right place at the right time, and also having a perseverance, I guess, because everyone has struggles, man. Within that, there's like a lot of struggles. A lot of obstacles that one has to pass, whether it's not being able to get somewhere or not having enough money to do this. So it wasn't a hey, get there, and get this, and get this, and do. No, it wasn't.
Hey, I'm already getting this scholarship. Hey, internship. Hey,
It wasn't a smooth journey at all. So everything within that whole process, which is about, I'd say 10 years now. Or 10 years of my life. So a lot of obstacles have come from it.
And with those obstacles, do you have like a vivid memory of like the lowest and the highest that you can share? The lowest one. Let me do it like that. For the lowest obstacle and like the peak, like highest of like where you are. Like something you can say, I'm happy about, and something you say, yo, this was an obstacle. This was the lowest part of my career.
Highest part, I think, when, the craft, I think in music just in general, when it makes you travel, that is like, or puts you in different spaces, or when what you do puts you in different spaces, that is an achievement. You know? So I think highest is when I attended the Miami Music Conference in 2012.
Sure.
Got to perform there. It's when you kind of like feel how it is to be like around the greats, and see how things are done in a different environment. I'd say lowest is definitely when, just from a self point of view, when you kind of don't sometimes when you doubt what you do, or don't believe in yourself.
When you doubt what you do, that's
like
a low. That's a low.
For me, that's a low. Because that thing can make you pull back from a lot of things.
True.
Because when you're a creative, you're sharing a part of who you are with the people. So and especially when you shoot at things or when you attempt things and they don't work out, that can literally make you go, I don't want to do this anymore. So for me, the lowest points were, when you're a bit resistant in doing something because you kind of doubt what you're doing. Is it the right thing, the wrong thing? Those are basically the moments that I can mention.
And thank God somehow you maneuvered through those low parts and focused on the highs, I guess, which has then made the point of perseverance that you kind of talked about as well.
Yes.
I'm thinking about just this journey of yours and just how it sounds like you received opportunity and someone opened a door for you. Right? Am I receiving it wrong before I continue?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you got it easy. I'm just saying that I find that how opportunity was kind of offered back in the day, as in throughout the journey, as you've pointed it out, is so different post 2015 in terms of how people operate in the industry.
Now.
And now.
2015 to now.
I find that it's very different in terms of how they put people on, give opportunity. What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's a very say wild environment or very tricky one. To maneuver. You'd kind of say it's a dog eat dog world at the moment. I'd also say that you have to really push beyond, and even when you are meeting those obstacles or when the doors are shutting on you, you need to kind of like push beyond that.
True.
So yes, it's kind of different. People back then did give I can give you an opportunity, I can open a door here, I can do this for you, I can do this, as long as you're gonna put in the work.
Yeah.
But I think as well, the one thing that also didn't happen is you wouldn't get rewarded for it, but you'd get rewarded from the opportunity that you're given. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm gonna open this door for you, but you must do the work.
So this is what,
where it doesn't come with any sort of reward.
At least ungenile.
So you kind of like start from ground zero and you have to work your way up.
Yeah.
So it's a different time, man. It's really a different time that we're living in.
It puzzles me because I think it's, to me, maybe I'm looking at things wrong. It seems as though the people that were opportunity givers back in the day are still the same people today, and I find that to be very awkward. It's like
That hasn't changed much.
That hasn't changed much. I wonder what we're getting wrong. I really wonder.
Yeah, maybe that's because they from that school, like of opening the doors. Like, you know, so they've remained the same throughout.
But bazofala babantu, like they're not getting younger.
That's very
Bazofala babantu.
They're not gonna be there.
Yes.
For the longest time.
So, like, who's passing the baton? Guys, sorry, I'm here with the baton. We are trying our best. I'm trying my best. Because it's like there was a generation that was skipped of opportunity givers. Now we're all fighting. We're crying. We're crying for opportunities. It's a wild time. It's a wild time to be in. So I think you've mentioned a lot of people that you managed to engage with throughout the years.
Yes.
And I've found that, I mean, I'm not have found, but rather would you say that those are the same people who influence you, your career and your music?
Yes. From an earlier age, from like, you know, the music that I kind of played, you know, those people were on the records.
They were on the records,
or
yeah.
on the CDs or the cassettes that I used to buy back then. So most definitely, but the major influence obviously came from home. You know, which was the music that I was listening to when the music my mom was playing in the house.
Like the local jazzes.
Yeah, well.
Ooh.
And like, so back then we used to listen, you know, our parents listened to a lot of like international artists.
Yeah.
So you name your Anita Baker, Stevie Wonders.
Yeah.
So it was like, it had that soulful thing.
Yeah.
So that's where the inspiration came from. So when growing into the industry, then you kind of meet these people that you've been playing their music for years. Or, you know, you kind of tend to want to gravitate to that. But yeah, my influences did come from a lot of those things.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I mean, listen, in a country that is so filled with changing sounds, and that's because throughout the years, we've seen sounds come and go. How difficult is it to stay in your lane, as they call it? I mean, for you, because like it sounds like you have been consistent in this sound, and as I know with as well in your work, you've just been consistent with the sound, man.
It's trying to implement it a bit, but not change who you are. So in the EP, for instance, that I did release last year, you know, Afro house, Afro tech is what's kind of like dominating at the moment. Obviously, piano is also
obviously
in the scene,
piano,
which is the main genre right now in the country.
The main commercial genre.
Correct. So being, you know, that person that loves kind of like soulfulness in music, the chords, and you know, making it in a specific way, I try to just make it a bit up tempo, a bit more, slightly a bit more punchier. Then maybe like laid back or chill.
Yeah.
You know, so
I can play this on radio at any time. Yes.
A bit more listenable as well. So yeah, like those are the kind of things that you use, I feel, to stay relevant in the scene. Because it's difficult to coexist, you know, amongst what's happening around us right now. But the one thing that you don't want to do is kind of like lose yourself in the whole thing, and then you find yourself doing a genre that you
have no business touching.
You did because you're trying to make a buck. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I find that I find that to be such a terrible feeling eventually. Imagine that feeling whereby you do a genre that you have no business in doing, and you're like, why? Because I'm trying to make a buck. That sounds like it'll break my heart.
Right?
Yeah, does it sound to you too?
No, it sounds bad.
It sounds terrible.
It sounds very, very terrible to do that. So for me, it's genuinely, literally, the first point of reference is, do I like what I'm doing?
What you're doing?
Do I still love it? You know, does it make me? Music is feeling. Right? So do I feel? You know, how does it make me feel? Does it give me goosebumps?
I feel you.
Yes. Like,
yeah.
You can't deny a good song.
You cannot.
You can't deny a good song. So I think whatever genre that I've been in has always gave me that feeling. So am I feeling those things when I'm creating the music? So if I do get that feeling from the music, then I'm like, actually someone else out there will feel the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, and you can't please everyone as well.
That's true.
You know, so,
and you know what I found, a lot of people forget that like we somehow seem like we're fighting for like a piece of the pie, whereas there are people who don't see that this pie is big enough. So you don't have to go and fight for someone else's peace.
Yes.
For someone else's peace, because this pie is huge, and I find that that's what we don't see in this industry of ours. We should change that. We should somehow find a way to change that. But anyway,
the pie is definitely big enough for everyone to coexist, and make sort of a living with what you're trying to do.
Yes. I mean, look, with the sound that you do, because it's mostly, let me say, soul. I'm gonna say it's mostly like I'm gonna say it's African soulful music rather, or South African soulful music, because there is a difference between, I guess, let me say, how the Americans and the Europeans kind of do soulful music. I mean, I get exactly what you're saying with the Change the World EP. I get it. I get it, because when I listened to it, I was just like, I remember actually on my way here, I re-listened to it.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to think, what's the second track?
It's called You Raised Me, I think. Yes.
There's a point where I find myself going, woo! Because that's what soulful house music does, and I'm just like, whoo, and me, if you know me, I go crazy over good music. And Nyani, you actually made good music there. And what I wanted to know is, when you did it and you put it out, how did you want people to receive it? What exactly would have been the first point of contact on this is what I want the people to feel through this project?
I think I wanted them to feel what I felt, which was, it making me happy, it putting me in a joyful mood, it lifting me up, it lifting me up in a bad time, it getting me through a difficult time in my life. Because even the first song is called Never Let You Go, featuring More Soul. So, people that are in love, would also relate to that song, how they wouldn't let a partner go, or wanting to have them around. So I think the whole sense would be uplifting someone. Music that uplifts your soul, for instance, whether it's in the beat, in the chords that we used, in the rhythm, in the writing,
the penning,
in the penning, the arrangement, but it was literally just to uplift you as a person. By the way, like, your project made me realize that South Africa has a lot of male good vocalists. Yes. Is that your point of contact when you work? Like, let me rather ask, how do you go about finding a vocalist you want to work with? Sure, that's a very good question. It's just based on people that I've listened to over the years, whether it's another song or someone that I've immediately interacted with. So with this one, Denise Winston was someone that I personally met in 2016. He's an American vocalist that I heard on a Sean McCabe song. And that song was remixed by Louis Vega. So when I got to meet him, I've always had the thing that I wanted to, hear him out on a song that I've done. So it's how I picked them is based on, and female too. I think we've got amazing. No, we definitely do. Yeah, we do definitely. So how I feel them is just based on me probably hearing them on an original song and wanting to hear how they'd sound if I'd had to work with them on a song that I did. So that's how the inspiration would come from there. Sure. Yeah. I was just like, wow. Never mind any of that. These vocalists that you chose, I was like, how did he go about doing this? And by the way, another thing that popped out, because this is what happens when you have to prepare for shooting. Yeah. You kind of need to go back to everything and reestablish those first impressions that you had the first time you listen to it and be like, oh, Flip Gonja, I thought this. Yes. Who mixed and mastered? A couple of people. So I work with a group of people, man. I just need to pick them up. The person I work with very closely is Tepo Disejo. That's his name. He's also a vocalist as well. Yeah. He wrote a lot of the songs and co-wrote some of the songs on the project. I see. And then we have Soulful, guys that I knew in the blog and the scene. Very, very good producer. And then we've got Gin Tonic. We also had most of the chords were played by More Soul. So the mixing, Super, who's the engineer of the whole thing. He mixed most of the songs. Hey, it's powerfully mixed and mastered, I swear. There's a bit of want to say Spanish mastering that was involved.
It's powerful.
So I had to, not Spanish, from London. There we go. Yes,
bro.
Yeah, I had to take the album to a friend that had recommended.
Yeah,
someone had recommended. Yo, this guy is actually quite good. So I had to try him out. So most of the songs on the album were mixed by those two guys, Super and my guy from London there.
Yeah, it's a powerful work that was done there because...
It sounds tight, right?
Yo, the kicks are kicking. And you're just like, that's not something you're used to on Soulful music where the kicks are kicking.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's me, I guess. I'm just like, these kicks are kicking. I'm like, wow. So it's powerful. And I drive a Polo, and the sound system in my Polo, I wouldn't say it's the greatest. Like, I don't like it at all. But for some reason, when I was driving here, as I listened, I was like, hey, this is hitting different in this car. So I was just like, surely the work done here, you can just hear it. And I could hear it through my Polo.
Yeah, sonically, that's what we're going for, man. Like, you had to feel the music, you know. And what I also like doing is testing it out. So sometimes I test it out in like gigs and stuff. And they will give me an idea of how the music really sounds. So what I'm trying to say, I test it out without even mastering it.
Sure.
So just by probably turning it up on the gain or something like that at a party to see, you know, what kind of frequency range am I looking at or going at to. So so that helps a lot, you know, testing out music before it comes out, getting a sense of what people are feeling as well from it. You know, do you drop the kick a bit, or do you have to increase some of the low frequencies a bit more, which I also like. The song it actually makes it sound fuller and warmer.
I love lower frequencies when they're emphasized because I'm more of the drums person, me personally. The drums. I guess that's why I'm an Afro girl. So.
So we paid close attention to that. So that's why it sounds the way it sounds.
They kicking. I won't even lie to you. It's one of the things that kind of stood out for me. So it's just like,
Thank you.
Have you ever found yourself in a point where you delayed a drop of a project just because of whatever reason?
Hey, I think I'm going through it right now. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to get to something, and I sometimes beat my head about it because you might miss the time. You know, sometimes you might have a song and you're thinking, actually, this is the right time to drop it. But something within the production of the song is like taking a while for you to drop the song. So with my first single, I think that's what happened with the one featuring Ntokozo Mbele. We finished it around September. It only dropped in December. You know, when I'm saying finished it, obviously we were still going through certain things with the song. Yeah, but it has happened to me. With the EP, it was quite quicker in terms of making decisive decisions. I think I also knew exactly what I wanted from certain songs as well. So that's why that release didn't feel like I was delaying, you know, a certain drop. But I'm currently feeling the same. Right now, I'm definitely feeling that way about the current thing that I'm working on. You know, I want it to be as perfect, but also making it, you know, overworking on a song can also spoil it sometimes. That's
exactly what I was thinking.
You can literally mess up the simplicity in it, especially when there's one thing that I don't like also doing now is I don't like playing a song for people. So you hear it in my sets and live gigs, but I don't like playing it for people. So let's say
what do you mean?
So let's say we're in a studio setup.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Right, yeah. So I won't. So for instance, you probably know that I'm working on something. Yeah. I won't play it for you until I am happy with it. Because your decision can actually influence what I kind of...
Like, what do you like is in my opinion?
Yeah, so what you say about... let's say I played for you now.
Yeah, finish it before you...
Correct, right? So let's say I played for you now. You might be like, yeah, but this is fine. And then I'm like thinking, is it fine? But I wanted to do that on it.
Yeah.
You know, or I wanted to take you here. You know, or I want that solo part to be there, or I want these chords to say this or that. So what I now do is I at least want it to sound complete. Because some of the songs I'd actually play, literally I'd have like 3 minutes of a beat and a chorus or just an idea on it. I'd still play for someone, and the person would be like, yeah, but the song is fine.
And you're just like,
No, yeah. we are not there. So I've kind of refrained from doing that. By the time you hear it, I want at least let's be 2 minutes away from finishing it. Before I actually look within myself and go, but this person, and you're now starting to think, but where's that thing that you played for me 3 months ago? Because sometimes time can fly. You're like, but that song, man, where is it? I'm like, it's there. You're like, why is it taking so long? I'm like, I'm still working on it, bro. I'm still working on that song. So yeah, certain things, man, can delay. Or I've been through those instances where, I've delayed a release of a certain song because I'm trying to achieve a certain thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might miss it. Like I said, you might get there to a point where you personally like it, but the next person, because they've heard those 2 other versions, they're thinking, but you had it at the second version of the song or the first version of the song. But as long as I'm happy with it,
that's the most important thing.
Then it's fine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually, that's the most important thing. Yeah. And are you now confirming that we should expect something soon?
Yes, there's definitely music that I'll be dropping. What month right now? May? Probably
what month are we in, actually? March. May. We're not in May.
No, in March. I'm trying to think. Probably around beginning of May. Probably drop a single. I am contemplating working. I hate talking about these things because sometimes you're talking in only something.
And then December. And that's okay.
So I'm thinking about an album. I feel right now something in me is just telling me that albums kind of don't work nowadays because of the speed at what we move nowadays. Like literally you can put out 12 songs and people only catch on one. And all those 10 songs in the project that you put on kind of go to waste in a way. So I feel like sometimes, man, I think if you've got a big label behind you, maybe like the way you go through the songs or the way you release them can help or assist you in getting through the body of work that you put together. But right now, do you listen to an album from like
I do. I genuinely do. I only listen to albums, actually.
Do you?
Yes, I only listen to albums. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I understand what you're saying. At the rate at which music is being consumed, one needs to think about how they drop their album. So some people usually say that I'm gonna drop an album when I feel like there's the demand for it.
Yeah, I think yes, and for you to get the reward from it, album is a lot of work. Like
it is, yeah.
It requires that, and even with the marketing of the album, it requires a lot of work. I'm not saying I'm against it, but I'm working on songs, and we might just have an album.
I love that. We might just have an album. I'm working on songs. Yeah, we might just have an album. I need to coach that.
But at the back of my head, I'm like, man, album. I know. I'd rather give you one song. I'd rather give you those 12 songs one by one, so you can get to experience them fully.
That's not a bad idea.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
You get to indulge gahle because, like I said, I'm trying to go back and go back to the albums that I've listened to over the past couple of months, and I don't listen to the songs like this. There's always like that one song or 2 songs that I like and I run with. So I'm just like, I'd rather maybe drop them as singles, and when there's a demand for it, then maybe an album.
Or maybe drop that album but in a mix. Because people, let's be honest, they still like the idea of hearing mixes.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking because there's something about telling people that it's an album or telling people that it's an EP that kind of shifts or kind of governs their mindset. If you're like, hey, here's a mix. Hey, here's a mix. You make it for sale, Futi, like on your website or something like that as an album, or whatever the case. I don't know. As an album, I don't know. But that's a good idea of doing. Like dropping the album in singles. Also, that's a good idea. There's so many ways to do this. Actually,
most definitely. Yeah, but there is music coming. That's one thing for sure.
That's one thing that's confirmed. That there is definitely music coming. It sounds like it's a lot. He just said. He just said there's music. There might be. There might definitely be an album, but there's definitely music on the way.
Yeah, there is music on the way.
So, that's funny. Oh my goodness. So I want to wrap things up, and I usually say I want to wrap them up in a cute bow. So what is it that you would like to perhaps tell your supporters, and perhaps someone who's going to be supporting you post watching the side sessions here? What is it that you would like to impart on them, first of all, and secondly, for someone who is working on the same sound, like a young kid who's working on the same sound, what would you impart on them as well?
Yeah, I think I mentioned a couple of the things in us talking. I think perseverance, stay hungry.
Stay hungry. Yeah.
Don't get ahead of yourself sometimes. The lights, they can blind you, eh? These lights.
Bright, guys.
Maintain the relationships that you have. I'd say, and also make sure that whatever you do, we've talked about it off air, make sure it's formal.
Formalize everything.
Check what you get yourself into. And then people that just support me, man, thank you. I want to thank everyone that's been supporting me throughout the years of my music, and that continues to support me. Thank you for your patience.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you for your patience throughout your support, and just stay tuned, man, and keep supporting me. You know? But the ones that are young and coming up, just stay in it. It might seem like it's tough in the beginning, but stay at it and keep trying to do it until it pays off. There's definitely a market for whatever you're trying to do.
100%.
Whether it's piano, whether it's house, whether it's hip hop, there's definitely a market. It's just how you package it and put it out to people.
I believe that too. Yeah. Like I'm happy. Those are well put words, actually. You know, there's something that I wanted to side note and then I forgot it.
What is that?
I forgot it. I swear there's something I wanted to side note and then I completely and utterly forgot. It's not even coming on right now. Anyway, and for anyone who wants to follow you, what are your socials, please?
You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Edsoul. Let's say it's at EDSOULSA on all platforms. The same handle, yes.
Yeah, and we'll just pin it down below for anybody who didn't catch that.
Thank you.
And that's okay. Did you have fun?
I did. I was actually feeling a bit nervous before this, but yeah, I actually enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me.
I
appreciate it.
So happy that we finally did this. It made me realize, damn, there's actually more to you than I thought.
Yeah.
And I love getting to know people, and I'm pretty sure everybody's also going to have a good time watching the episode, because I find that most of the time it's very important for you to know the people that make your music.
Sure. Yeah. Getting closer to the person behind it.
Exactly. And that's the point of this, because you find that in commercial radio stations you can't exactly get to know the people that make your music. You just get to know them on a shallow level.
Sure.
Because there's
time. You gotta cut it in 5 minutes.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, Edsoul.
Thank you so much.
Otherwise, for now, this is the side sessions. Keep it locked every time. We drop an episode every month, and we're still doing the pod party. The next one is on the 2nd, which will probably be 2 days before we drop, but 2 days after we drop the episode.
Before we leave?
Yeah, please.
The EP is still out, like I said.
Please say all of that. Put it, plug it like a.
Music moves very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly. So I released an EP in October. It's still out. People can check it out. It's got 5 amazing songs. Worked with Newtown Soul, Tankiso, Winston, Vocalist, Soulful, more so one of the best. I feel one of the greatest keyboard guys in the country. We've also got production from Gin Tonic as well. So it's an amazing project. People should please check it out on all digital streaming platforms. Thank you so much.
I mean, throughout the episode, we've been talking about Change the World EP, but you've wanted to formally
do it.
Okay,
yes,
cool. Singalibali protocol. Okay, can I say bye now?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Side session signing out. Mwah.